This is a presentation on alternatives to PowerPoint. We're going to do a little Prezi workshop, but how did I pick Prezi? How in the world would I know with that? Is that a good choice? You go and search for alternatives. You can find several mentioned, and this isn't the only result. This company Mentimeter, I've never heard of them. They recommend their product first, of course. Google Slides, Keynote, Prezi, Canva, Beautiful AI. I have used Canva, it's very much PowerPoint-like. I've used Keynote, and I actually tried to use Keynote today. If I go to iCloud.com and log in, I can go and actually try to use Keynote in the cloud. I can open previous presentations that were done in Keynote, but we'll watch what happens when I try to create one. I get this error. Now the first thing I did to try to solve this is try a different browser. I'm using Firefox here. I tried the same thing with Chrome and with Edge. Got the same error for all three. So Keynote is a good presentation software. You can download the iCloud Windows app. I don't know if that would give me Keynote capabilities there, but my other choice is to go get a Mac and use Keynote there, or an iPad. So Keynote, again, is similar to PowerPoint in many ways. So we want to do a little bit of exploration into a whole nother way of looking at presentations, an online alternative. But before we go there, I also want to mention one other software product available from Microsoft. You can see this on your office.com account if you log in. Microsoft actually competes with themselves with a PowerPoint-like option and a program called Sway. This allows you to create presentations that will run both on iPads, phones, laptops, and again, it's very much PowerPoint-like, but a little bit of a variation in how it works or how we edit it. I can create additional slides with suggested content and layout. I can create a stack of pictures. All fun things, but when I play it, it's very much PowerPoint-like, where I play through my various pages of information, and then I'm done. So I can play Sway, hit Escape, it goes back to my edit. So Sway is a nice Microsoft alternative, but it's still very much page by page. Of course, you can have transitions between pages. Now let's take a look at one of the many good alternatives. Prezi is often mentioned, and Prezi is a different way of looking at presentations. Let's go do something in Prezi, and we're going to spend the rest of this time using Prezi, just learning how it uses. If you already know Prezi, well, this will be an easy project for you, because we're going to make a little Prezi presentation. I'm going to go out there to Prezi.com, and I'm going to log in, and I'm going to use the same login that I use for my Emmaus Mail. That keeps me from having to sign up for yet another user on some page. I'm going to use my login with Google. If I were logged into my email, it automatically takes me in. So I'm already logged in, and it takes me into Prezi, where I can create projects. So just to learn Prezi, I'd like to create a project that is going to do an overview of the life of Paul. But let's first see what makes Prezi different. Let's go ahead and just do a practice one, create new presentation, and we'll use a template for now before we go do our own. And I'm going to use this template. Let's see, is that a good one? That's a pretty good one. How about, let's see, let's use one that kind of follows a flow that I have in mind. Here's a decent one. Generally, Prezi, I find Prezi at least, it's a cool new approach to presentation. But I like how it kind of makes you follow the overview of a path, and let's do there's a plan, business review. I like this one. Let's try this one. And I'll give it a title. I'll call it demo. Share with anyone on the web, and continue. I am using the free plan of Prezi. If you log in, use the free plan version. Now, I'm not going to edit this, just going to see what this does. As we present, I'm going to use a little eyeball. This goes full screen. This presents within the window. This is what will be shown. Now, here's the overview. Watch what happens if I go to the next slide. I zoom in on that, go forward, or a right arrow key, zoom in on that, another right arrow key, comes back out to the big picture, and now to the next thing. Out to the big picture, to the next thing. So the guy that invented Prezi, it's changed quite a bit since the original, was how when he did his presentation and he thought about things, he thought about it in big picture going to parts of it. And PowerPoint doesn't quite do this, of this kind of hovering over a big picture and then zooming in on the pieces as you go through. Kind of gives you a different approach to a topic, big picture, and then a path through the topic kind of approach. You can, with Prezi, share it. You can save it. Oh, of course, I'm satisfied. You can have a link to it. Remember, when I created, I said give it public access, because this would be the link that you will be, when you create your own, you'll be doing a get link and then providing that link to your Prezi in your submission to the online Schoology or online course. So we'll be creating one and doing a share. Notice I can collaborate with someone in real time. Nice thing about Prezi too is there is a Prezi app you can have on your phone. There's a Prezi presenter. I can present it in the browser, or I think I can have a Prezi app that I can install. So thinking big picture, walking through our big picture. Using a template is a good place to go, but we want to know how do I create this on my own from scratch. They have created multiple slides, and notice the overview is always in the background. Sometimes on my multiple slides I can block away the background depending on what kind of slide I have created, and I can go back to the main topic. So I see this, all these parts of it, and I can adjust the order of the slides just in my little navigator there. All right, now let's create our own just for a good practice at Prezi. So I'm going to go back to my main page, my dashboard, or I could have done new presentation there. I'm going to do create new presentation. This time I'm going to create it from scratch. The thing is, creating it from scratch, you don't have a completely blank presentation. These are the two blank styles you have. The others has things in there that you're welcome to experiment with. You can find something that's like what you're thinking about. We're going to create one from scratch so you can just see how it can be done and get the most learning experience of what can be done in Prezi. So I'm going to choose the plain blank white, and I click use this template. I'm going to give it linkable to anyone on the internet, and I'll give the title CS 101 Prezi by JSmart, my fictitious student, and continue. Now what I'd like to do for this Prezi is a walkthrough of the map of the Mediterranean and see how far I can get with a journey to Paul. And each major city that they visit on each journey, I'll have some view of that. Let's see what I get with the blank one though. It's provided a lot of things for me here in a blank presentation. Let's just play this and see what it gives me. A main topic, I click, or arrow key, gives me a subtopic, 3 subtopics of that, hopping through that, and then finally taking me back out to the main summary. Back to editing, I'll see my basic navigation only shows me this, but I have, let's see if I click on this, I think it takes me to my 3 sub slides that I can then edit. What I would like to do though is, like I saw in one of those demos, is I'm going to be browsing over a big map and then going into sections. So I'm going to go back to the very top and I'm going to delete this by right-clicking on that, delete. I have an overview. Let's go ahead and give it a title, just like any placeholder, Journeys of Paul. See, Advanced Bible College. Whatever you want to put there in your title. Subtitle. I click and just start typing multiple trips and churches. As recorded in the book of Acts. And details, of course, gathered from other accounts you find in Galatians and other places where he mentions what he's been doing. Okay, now we have this. We would like a background image that we are going to be now traveling across. I could right-click, change background, but I realized that did not do it for me, and I didn't get the zooming that I want. So I don't want to do a change background, although you could put a background of some colored or textured background. I want to insert an image into this page. Now I can do insert image and then find images from their search bar, but I quickly find out if I do Bible map that it wants to sell me something in order to just search for images. So no, I'm not going to use Prezi edu plus. I'm going to go find my own image. And I'm going to do it what I think is the easiest way. I'm going to close the insert. I'm going to go to another page, one of my favorite places, images.google.com. If you find another place like glyphy.com where you get animated GIFs, I'm going to search for Bible map Apostle Paul. How about Apostle Paul? Make sure I get the right Paul here. And lots of maps. And let's see what I have available here. Let's see. I want some that's not marked up a ton. I like the color. This does have a lot of little boxes around it. Is there one that's color but not all marked up? And lots of interesting ones there. Let's see. They do have lines in them. That one's not a bad one. I'm not sure what the red's about. Apparently the spread of the church. Here's looking like a decent one. Not too marked up. That's not too bad. Let's go with that. I'm going to right click, copy, and then come back to my Prezi, and let's just try right click paste. There's a right click insert image. Oh, there's the paste. Control V. I could have done a Control V, and it says do a Control V. All right, I'll do a Control V, and there's my picture. I want this to be my background, so I'm going to grab it up to the corner and stretch it out. I don't need to see the full bottom of that, so I'm going to stretch it out even more. I can zoom out a little bit. Oh, it doesn't let me zoom out. If I grab the corner, though, let's see if it lets me zoom out. If I grab the corner, it lets me zoom out the corner. Oh, it's not very nice with letting me zoom. I guess I can stretch it and then move it. There we go. And you can see that white background is showing me what will be showing on my slide. So I think I kind of like that. We'll go with that. If you find a different map, that is fine. Now, all I have is one slide. Let's do the little eyeball, see what I have here. Oh, it's running off the edge. I want to move it. Nothing else happens because it's only the one slide. So let's hit escape or go back to, back to the editor. Let's adjust that until when I show it, I don't get, I guess I do. Once I zoom out enough, I will see the border. Okay, we'll start there. Okay, so back to edit now. Let us now add additional slides. Now this is where I want to click on here and I want to add things to my presentation. I can add a topic as a planet. That's what we were seeing in that demo or the initial slides. We don't want planet or stack. We're going to add a zoom area, because we're going to be zooming into different areas on this map. So I click zoom area, and now I can move this zoom area to where I wanted it to be zoomed into, in which I wanted to be zoomed into the place where Paul started his journey over there in Antioch. So I'm going to drag that as a zoom area. And now that you can treat that now as your slide that you will see. So it's not like creating a slide in the Designer in PowerPoint and then you just fill it with content. That slide will automatically be zooming into this area of my big picture. And if I hover just near a corner, I'm supposed to be able to rotate that. I don't see my little rotate button showing up. Huh. I thought I'd be able to rotate that. That's going. All right, so maybe I have to create it first. Let's see if I go edit that. All right, it zooms into that area. Do I have edit capabilities? Pause recording. So now I want to place some text on this slide. I see a little outline of where this slide is going to be focused on. I should have gotten a little better resolution image. I could always replace that image. Since I can't read Antioch there, I might go find something a little better. It's surprising how hard it is to find a good res image of a map, but I might do a little searching. Let's just say we're going to add text here, so I click Add Text. It gives me a text box, and I just start typing. Let's put Antioch Commission. And that's found in Acts chapter 13. Let's go and grab that passage and paste it in here. So I'll bring up another slide, another page here, and I'll go to Bible Gateway, my favorite place online. And put in Acts 13. And choose whatever version. I'm used to using the ESV. And refresh to get the ESV version. And now we'll go ahead and set apart from me Barnabas and Saul. So yeah, we'll do that whole passage. Control-C copy and come over here and paste into the rest of that. Make sure I'm there and paste. Now you see, wait a minute, this is way too big. Well, we can just grab the corner and adjust the size, or I can grab this edge of it and adjust the size. It automatically fits the text to my text box. If I want a little more readable on that background, I can come over here to the fill and give it a white fill with some transparency or opacity. Reduce the opacity to give it a little bit of a contrast. I can even put a little corner on the little box that shows up. Okay. And again, for a little bit of extra, let's go ahead and find a picture of Paul and Silas. Paul and Silas. Did I say Paul and Barnabas? Paul and Silas. And let's grab there. Let's see. That's, oh, it's Paul and Barnabas initially. Yes, Paul and Silas later. Paul and Barnabas initially. We know what happened with Paul and Barnabas. They had a little falling out there. And let's get them sent. Let's go ahead. Let's see. We'll get this one. I'm going to right click, copy. Usually this is a higher quality than that thumbnail. Sometimes you can right click on that image. I'm going to right click, copy image, and come up to my Prezi and try the Control-V paste. And there's my image. And just for a little practice at animation, I can hover over this, or here we go. Here we see animation right there. And I can apply a fade in and then I'll just leave it sitting there. We don't have them fade out. It shows up as a separate little item there. Now let's add a additional one. Let's go back up to our main slide here, or let's see what do we have here. We can add another zoom area. This adds a zoom area to the current slide I'm in, which I don't think I want. So I'm going to undo that. Or, yeah, I think that wants it. No, I guess I can move. Let's try moving that over to their first island. We see a little line following them. Apparently a zoom area will not rotate. I was seeing something else on my laptop when I was practicing this, getting a rotatability on this thing that I'm not seeing available here. But let's go ahead and come to this one now. Click here, it zooms in on that. And let's add a text box for here for, what should we call it? Fear, or I'll call it events in Cyprus. They weren't fearful, although I think it scared Mark. I'll put the Acts 13 reference again. And where is that? That's Acts 13. Let's see here. That's Cyprus. They had John to assist them, John Mark. And I guess we can do this whole passage. And Control-C copy. Come back here. And paste that into my text. And now adjust my text. I can grab it, move it around, grab the sizing handle, move to fit. I'll put it here in the more readable area of the C. And let's bring a picture of the magician, Bar Jesus. And you may find you're coming across very similar style pictures from some of these classic books. You may even bring memories back of those Sunday school books. Let's go with this guy. We'll right click. Let's try the thumbnail this time. Let's try right click, copy the image, come back to Prezi and paste. Control V, paste. Now images, I thought I could rotate them too. Oh, and there I'm seeing a, I thought I could rotate images. I'm not seeing rotatability there, but I can resize them. And I right click. I can right click, add animation. Same thing as clicking there. Let's see if that gives me the same options. Add animation. I don't see what kind of animation I had. I guess I will click this guy. There we go. Fade in. I can always go back to my main overview. I can add topics there as well. I believe they will be added to the end of the current topics. Let's try that. Add a topic. Zoom area. Oh, it put it at the very beginning. Let's put that to the end. I was expecting it to add it to the end. So apparently when I have to have, it adds it to the end of whatever is currently selected. And let's add a zoom back to overview at the end. So I'll put all my slides in between here and then zoom back to overview. Oh, that one has, yeah, that one has the picture. This here, I would like to zoom to the, let's see, they're heading to Pamphylia, and I can adjust the size of that. Let's see, zoom to area. And I guess I have to click on the very edge. I want to adjust, let's see if I can adjust, I want to adjust its size. Maybe I have to go to overview. I want to adjust the size of this guy, and I'm having a hard time grabbing its corners to resize it. Let's try the overview and resize there. Now I can resize. I don't know why I couldn't grab it there. So a little bit of learning of how this interface works. Now this is the part where they sailed, and you see the little tiny yellow line following my sequence. This is going to be where they land and Mark leaves them. So we'll get Pamphylia title in there. And let's see. Yeah, we'll get the text in here. And then we'll maybe think of other animations along the way. It would be nice to have this guy fade away after it's done when I go back to the overview, but we'll see what we think. You can kind of see how this is a different way of thinking through your subject. You have the big picture, you're adding slides on top of the big picture, and you can see with perhaps a technical discussion or a walking through machinery or some engineering problem where it's step by step, remembering what you just did, or architecture of a house, walking through a house, and in this case, something travel along a map, and you have the pictures to go with each little sub-item. Let's go ahead and click on that, and let's put in some content. As I click on that over here, zooms in here, and now I'm going to insert text, and the text for that one will be them heading to the island. And the very important thing that John had left them, and we'll just include their arrival at the first synagogue. So select that, copy, come over here, paste, and adjust to my slide content. And it's right in a nice contrast area. And since this was a significant thing, can I highlight John left them? Let's try that. Select it and Control B, bold it. Look at that. Italicize, Control I. Oh, no italicize. Shortcut. Control. I can't. It's supposed to do Control I. Oh, but it didn't. Ah, interesting. Control B works, but not Control I. I can enlarge my text just by resizing that. Now, I am used to seeing a rotate. I wonder if it's because I'm using Firefox. I know I was using Chrome, and I was getting a rotatability here when I hovered over it. I might go open it in Chrome later to see it. Let's bring in a picture, and let's see here. Let's get John Mark leaving. You think there'd be a picture about that? John Mark leaves Paul. And of course, Paul was not happy about that. We need, there's John, there's somebody leaving. They're assuming persecution. Let's see, there's on the mountains leaving. I'm thinking it would have occurred at the ship, or he's going to be catching another ship while they're landing, or maybe from Cyprus he left them. I guess I don't have one leaving the way I would think of. This seems way out of context. That one, that's nice, the 3D. You've got the John Mark leaves. Let's try this and see, then we'll do some cropping. So I'm going to right-click, copy image, bring that one in. And let's use the opportunity to do a little bit of cropping. Let's see how crop works. Grab the cropping handle, and there I can crop that out. And say, wait a minute, I do want that, or I do want that. I could leave them back in. Adjust my cropping. And enter or click off of it, and the cropping has taken effect. Select, what else could I do to a picture? Can I do any color? I can replace. I can apply some styles to it, some presets, much again what that's due for an image. I don't see any image adjustments. I can add to my library. I'm not going to worry about adding to my library. And how about that? Should we do a little animation on that? Should we have that fade in? I do have my animations slide there. Yeah, we'll have that fade in. I suppose when I'm bouncing back to the main slide, I could have these things fade away. But let's see now how it plays. We'll do the eyeball for this time. Oh, I started playing at that slide. Let's back up to the very first slide. There's my overview. And you can see I'm at the beginning. This slide is the grade now. I could grab the slider to go through my presentation, or I could use my arrows to go through my presentation. And very similar on a device. Ooh, my text is being cut off. Sad about that. I'll have to adjust that. There's my image coming in. I gotta watch my padding around my images. Okay, let's go to my individual slides and fix those problems here. How would I know that the text was being cut off? Oh, do we see that shaded rectangle? I wasn't paying attention to that. I was using my view window, but I see my shaded rectangle is where my slide is. Let's bring that inside, and let's bring that over to the right. And I can enlarge this a bit. Next one. Oh, I see my text is hitting right against the edge. Let's pull that up a little bit. We don't want it pushing against the edge of my... Remember that my slide is that tiny little shaded area. That's that very visible line, or if I get near the edge, then it shades the whole thing. Some of the things you see in Prezi, they just happen. You're not sure why they did that. It just takes a little practice. Okay, so now we have them there. Let's add one more, and let's experiment with what other things we can do with this. So let's add one more. I'm at that last slide. I am on that last one. That's the zoom to overview, zoom to area. Let's now add another zoomed area. And I'm going to zoom out because I want this to be up here in the main, where they came to here and then they turned around and revisited the others. One thing that's bothering me is I can't rotate that. But let's add this text and a picture, and then I'm going to go open it in Chrome and see if it behaves differently in Chrome. So the rest of this time now is for you to experiment with the various slides, add something. Let's see if you can get slides that bring Paul then back to Antioch, and then maybe at least have one or two slides of the destinations, or one of the destinations in the second and third missionary journey. Maybe put Rome in the third because that's where he ends up, and maybe put some of these churches here in the second to show that he went a little further at that time. But this one, let's go edit that one. That's my fifth slide. Let's bring in some text, and that'll be the text of John Mark leaving them and then visiting the nations. So at Antioch, they have a lot of dialogue. Is confrontation there, and then where's the return to Antioch, Iconium, Lystra, and then return to Antioch. So if you want to add any of these events here at different cities, I'm going to have the return to Antioch. Declared all done with them. Had the open door of faith to the Gentiles. Copy. Oh, wait a minute. I am over in Lystra. Let's have... We'll do the Iconium. That last one we'll do on the return to Antioch. All right, paste the text. Acts 13. Are we in Acts 13? No, Acts 14 now. Acts 14. And paste. Verse 14. And adjust that to fit within my rectangle of my zoomed in region. You'd think that the text box would fit that, but I can easily adjust that. Put it over here in the more readable section. I think I'm going to give that a little bit of a contrast by going to fill with white and minor opacity. Give it a little corner, and let's bring in an image by copy pasting from my images. So Iconium. And let's see, something interesting there. Probably didn't look like that, but let's do this one. Right click, copy, and paste. And let's see here. Let's do order. Let's do a right click, send to send backward. I think if I sent it all the way to the back, it would be behind that very back image. Let's see if that happens. Let's do send to back. Yeah, it disappears. Control Z undoes that. Because I have not made this the background, I can send something behind it. All right. And yeah, I don't think we need to fade that one in. I can have it fade away though, so I could see the background. Let's just add a fade away just to see how that would work. Let's do a fade out. After the image comes, after I leave that, it'll fade away. Now let's see what we have. Oh, let's go to our first slide. I'll grab the slider and bring it up to the first slide. Zoom. Oh, I didn't go all the way back, did I? Apparently back. There we go. Now we're back. Now let's go to, there we are. Leaving Antioch. Their image fades in. John Mark leaves. Iconium. This guy, let's see, I don't see the slide, or do I? Oh, I have to go to edit mode. Let's see, this slide is there. I see, if I hover, yeah, I'm a little too close to the edge of that slide, so I'm gonna grab that and move it up. That tiny little line, you can barely see it unless you shade it by hovering near the edge. It's easy to forget where the edge of your slide's gonna be. So there's a nice overview. I'm going to go open it in Chrome real quick just to see what it looks like. But I'll leave this to you. If you're using Chrome, you may see that it behaves. I see I'm cutting off the picture here. Let me grab that, bring it in within my little almost invisible line. And at this point, you have a presentation. Make sure that you have the link to it. And over in Schoology, it's, oh, create new link. Let's see. I'm going to, oh, I don't want that. I have it back to, let's go back to there again. Get link, back to all links, shared with, wait a minute, I didn't see this before either. I want the link, oh, that's the link, that's to create a link. I want to share it. Share broadcast link. Let's try collaborate. What does that do? Owner. I want to share it to everyone. I want you to make sure you get the link. I suppose you could give it this link, but we want to make sure that this is shared to everyone in the world. Let's see here. Let's go back to overview. Maybe that one. Let's see what I have there. That's the presenter notes. Let's see. Let's go back to the main here. Dashboard. I want to be sure we can get this link. There is the one I just edited. Let's go ahead and try this, and let's do sharing and privacy. Does not have any trackable. Anyone with the link can view. And where is my link? There's a link. I'm not sure what the trackable link's about. That's the link I want. I don't understand why it wasn't showing up over there when I was in the presentation. So there's where I can do the sharing and privacy. Copy that link. That's the link that you want to put in Schoology. And let's see if Schoology is working today. I can go there to my assignments and paste that in the Prezi presentation assignment and submit. I will go to the create and I type in link to Prezi, to my Prezi. I can paste the text there just so you see what the hard link is, but I'm going to select all that text and make sure that it does take me there. Control V and open link in new tab. Now I can then submit, and that assignment link will take me there. To verify that, click there. I'm going to copy link. Oh, I can't copy link. I'm going to copy that link, and I'm going to bring up Chrome and see if it shows up any differently. I guess I'm not the editor there though. Let's see what shows up in Chrome. There's my presentation, and of course it might want me to log in. I'm going to present, and here I do have my little arrow keys to zoom in to the various areas. When I share the link, they can only view it in presentation mode. I think if they log in, they can make a copy and edit their own copy of it. I'm going to log in as JSmart over here and see if the edits look differently. So I'm going to log in, and I'm going to log in as JSmart. I guess if I log in with Google, let's see what happens. It's going to assume I'm Arthur T. Manning. And let's put in my presentation. Let's see here. I didn't share it. I wonder if I can share it with A.T. Manning from that Firefox. Let's go back to it, and let's share it with a particular one, A.T. Manning, anime.edu. And let that guy edit it and see if it looks different in Chrome for the editing part. Now, I am here now in Chrome, and do I see one shared with me? Let's do a refresh. There it is. Now let's see if it edits any different. I'll go to edit of that. Editing in Chrome, and click on an image, and I still cannot rotate those. Alright. It was looking different last night. I wonder if I was using, if something was different. I was able to rotate my zoom windows on the others. But basically do a demo with Prezi. Get something like this in there. I'm not going to be super fussy on having it perfect, but I wanted to get a little experience using Prezi, as well as getting credit for exploring Prezi. So you should have at least, what do I have, 5 slides. Bring in a slide on the second and third journey, and then share the link with me, and you'll be done.